Welcome to this year's Home Sweet Home. I'm Trell Anderson, the Executive Director of Northwest Housing Alternatives. And while I wish we were meeting this year in person, I think you'll enjoy the event we have planned for you today. You'll hear from our staff, residents, board members, and partners, and learn all about what we've been up to this year. I want to start today by thanking you for being part of our community. Without the support of our business partners, donors, staff, and board, we simply could not do this work. There's a direct link between your support and NHA's ability to support residents in our buildings and families seeking shelter at the Annie Ross House. You all make us who we are, and together we're tackling the crisis of homelessness, housing instability, and poverty across the state of Oregon. Over the past year, we've learned a lot as people and as an organization. We've continued to deepen our journey toward anti-racism in several ways. With support from Meyer Memorial Trust, NHA has joined a cohort of affordable housing leaders to address racial inequities across the industry. This work directly relates to our strategic plan goal of understanding historical discrimination and racism in our field and working to make sure that the past does not predict the future. Within our organization, we're currently undergoing a pay equity analysis to evaluate compensation across our staff team. This year, we also adopted a new holiday policy that replaced mandated holidays on the calendar in favor of a holiday bank of flexible hours that allow each employee to celebrate the days and occasions that are most important to them. Both of these organizational projects had significant input from our staff-led Equity Policy Inquiry Committee that analyzes NHA's policies using an equity lens. It's one of two equity-focused committees we have at NHA. There's also the Racial Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, or READY Committee, which focuses on providing equity-related education to the staff and tackling NHA's racial equity goals across the organization. From racial injustices to the COVID-19 pandemic to severe weather events, it's been a difficult year, especially for the residents in buildings and communities sponsored by NHA. Unfortunately, we know that many of these challenges are expected to continue and likely worsen. In the winter, we experienced an ice storm that left many of us without power, sometimes for weeks, some residents included. This summer, extreme heat and wildfires have taken lives and destroyed neighborhoods of far too many families and communities across the state. Again, across the country and around the globe, we see how extreme weather events disproportionately affect communities of color and people living in poverty. Over the past year, our resident service and homeless intervention teams has stepped up to stabilize families and support residents. From delivering PP&E to hygiene supplies to isolated residents to handing out water and hydration drinks during the heat dome to literally cooking up food for residents during the ice storm, our staff remain deeply committed and feel a call to service to quell fears and support those who need it. Resident Services has also been hard at work delivering strategic programming to protect our seniors through the Senior Health and Housing Program. Started well before the pandemic, this program connects seniors with healthcare resources, nutrition and wellness education, and community events to combat isolation. Having this in place as the pandemic hit helped senior residents be more prepared for these events over the last year. And this fall, we're also piloting a program that provides education support for students among family communities with homework clubs, education, supplies, linkages to school resources. Knowing that many students struggled during the past year with the school disruptions, we know we have to step up and offer extra support to these kids and help them track towards completing high school. I feel so grateful to be a part of this organization and to have your support in all that we do. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being here with us through these challenging times. Next, we'll hear from Bob and Afton Walsh of Walsh Construction. Walsh Construction has been a significant and dedicated partner to NHA over the years. In fact, the affordable housing on NHA's main campus is named Walsh Commons in honor of our work together. Bob and Afton will share a bit about why affordable housing is so important and more about our partnership. Please enjoy.
Hi, I'm Afton Walsh, Director of Community Engagement for Walsh Construction.
And I'm Bob Walsh, Afton's older brother. No, actually I'm Afton's father, but don't tell anybody that. Walsh Construction's historical involvement with affordable housing goes back to the late 1960s. My brother and I were two stumbling around college graduates looking for something to do, and we started painting houses, and then somebody suggested at some point that a career of painting houses might not be the best, and suggested we talk to a fellow named John Carter, who was head of the local HUD office. John showed us how to finance a project in which we had no money. It was helpful to have HUD financing. That started us on a long-term commitment to build HUD projects. We built 14 or 15 projects around the state of Oregon. As we were building affordable housing, we had the good fortune of meeting some nonprofit partners who were professionally in the business of building affordable housing, which led us on a long-term commitment to affordable housing. And since 1968, we've constructed or rehabbed almost 70,000 affordable housing units in the western United States.
And I'm so honored really to be continuing that legacy of building affordable housing throughout our region. And taking all of the great work that they did and also investing in the future and centering equity, centering sustainability in these in the housing stock of the future.
We support NHA because we believe there's a philosophical alignment of how to deliver the best possible product at the most affordable price. The staff at NHA is incredibly dedicated to building the best possible product that they can. Beyond the physical part of delivering housing is the services that are provided. That getting people into affordable housing is only step one. NHA's commitment to the long term to make sure people's lives better is what really makes NHA special.
I would echo that, just the joy of working with the NHA staff and how every decision that's being made is centering their residents, and it's centering the lives of their residents, the futures of their residents, and that makes our jobs really easy and brings joy to our jobs every day. What's wonderful about working with NHA and why Walsh chooses to partner and continue to partner is that our value alignment. We want to build an equitable future in our region. We believe that housing is a right, just like I know NHA believes that housing is a right. And together we are delivering housing in new and creative ways and bringing our expertise and your expertise together.
And over the years, we've been a beneficiary of working with NHA, and we in turn hopefully have returned some of that kindness by investing in NHA with both charitable contributions and then in some cases land purchases in the funding sources not immediately available. We're very willing to purchase ground and then work with NHA to seek funding. And I think that type of partnership and the trust that's conveyed between the two of us really makes the working relationship quite special. NHA has always been a selected charitable organization in our giving campaign, which we do company-wide, and we pride ourselves on 100% participation and people's willingness within the company to contribute to NHA. Speaks volumes about the commitment that NHA has to our community.
Because we have this wonderful shared history with NHA, that there are people who have worked for Walsh for 30 years who got to build an NHA project, at the very beginning of their careers. And then there are folks who started working for Walsh, last week we all have this really shared mission and shared history, alongside NHA that throughout the organization people get to participate in. I think that's a neat factor that everyone has worked on an NHA project, which is such a wonderful gift that we all get to share. It's really important for Walsh to invest in this work moving forward. I think the last year has shown us why. There's never been a more critical time to invest in organizations like NHA who are providing the services, providing the housing to make Oregon better. The challenges, I think, of the future will only be solved by really strong public and private partnerships, and that together, bringing each of our skills and strengths, I think that we can solve those challenges.
One of the things we're most proud of at NHA is how our affordable housing projects have kept on track and on budget throughout the challenges of the past year. Up next, you will see a video about one of our newest buildings, workforce housing in the Gateway neighborhood in Northeast Portland. These homes are transit-centered and fill a much-needed gap in the community. Take a look to find out more.
The Bury Building is a project that is aiming to provide workforce housing. It's named after Justin Bury. Justin Bury was a fierce advocate for affordable housing as well as tenant rights. It's 159 units of studios, 1 bedrooms, and a few 2-bedroom units. Just driving around the city with my daughters, it breaks my heart to see people living on the streets. Knowing that this project can provide a more affordable place for people to call home, I'm hopeful that things like this can help put a dent in that problem.
Walsh has specialized, in not only multifamily, but affordable multifamily housing. There's a lot of experience that comes with that, from estimating through completion of the project. So I think that we can bring more value to the owners, developers.
The CEDC model, that stands for cost-effective design and construction, basically identify the things that are really important to this market that provide value without exceeding the overall first cost of the job.
It was less about a specific number of units, and it was more about what was the most cost-effective way to construct the building with the available funding that was perceived.
And what ended up happening is we built a project under budget, ahead of schedule, and I think that it's a really successful example of utilizing the cost-efficient design and construction model.
We saw this as really kind of a gateway into the Gateway community. Really feel like we created a building that is appreciated in the neighborhood.
They couldn't have chose a better place to build a building within reasonable means for people to live. It's close to grocery shopping, it's close to public transportation, it's close to everything that people would need.
Construction's changed technically, but a lot of times our company's been focused on the same things, which is people and relationships, and been committed to affordable housing. And working with Michael Willis Architects, Northwest Housing Alternatives, Walsh, everybody's got a common goal. There's the job aspect of what we do every day, and then there's the ideas we're helping the community. If I can help folks find, housing that's stable, and again, parents and kids and families can grow and succeed, that's just awesome.
Speaking of residents and resident services, I'm so happy to bring you this next clip with Beezy Burton and Vittoria Ray. Beezy is a resident services coordinator here at NHA, and Vittoria is a resident at College Manor in Monmouth. She's also a member of our Resident Advisory Council, a resident-led group that provides feedback about programs and services to NHA's Board of Directors. Please enjoy their conversation about their experiences with NHA.
There are lots of reasons that NHA properties appeal to me. number one, they are maintained in a fantastic manner. I've lived all over the world, and I've lived in a lot of apartment complexes, but I have not lived in any complex that has been maintained that well. I also have not lived in a complex where the owners of the complex are actually interested in the residents, and they see us as people and clients and not as just someone to take money from. We've had people that have moved in that lived in cars before they moved in. They lived in hotels before they moved in. And you can just listen to them after 3 or 4 weeks and they will say, this is the nicest place I have ever lived. I would have never known that I could have this type of a life in a complex like this. Well, the whole concept behind the Resident Advisory Council is to get input from residents on pending projects and things that are happening. The other reason that I really enjoy being on that particular committee is that I learn about the organization and I learn about the direction that the organization is going. Because we're able to give our input and to say, okay, this is reality, this is our reality. It actually adds to the community, and the community then says, oh, this is everybody just like us. These people are just like us. One of the beautiful things about having someone like Beezy as your resident services coordinator is that she makes you feel like it's okay to say, I need help. We all know that if something happens, Northwest Housing is there to catch us so that we don't lose what we worked so hard to gain. You know, so this is about helping us sustain and move forward, not just allowing us to exist. And that's what's important.
Well, I have 8 properties. I serve well over 200 residents. 2 of my properties are family properties, and the rest of them are senior properties. Every day, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm off to help some residents. One of the things that we really made a big deal about in resident services once the vaccine started coming out, we would all work together as a team, try to get flyers out to people, try to talk to our residents. We were trying to set up vaccine drives. So many of my people wanted to be vaccinated, but they didn't know how to, they didn't know where to go, they didn't know who to call, they didn't know how much it cost, all these questions. So I would go online and try to print out flyers or print out anything I could to bring to a resident's home and say, I don't have all the answers, but this is what I do have. And I don't have many residents who will come to me because they think that they're taking from others. And I always stop them mid-sentence and I let them know you're not taking from anyone. This is what I do, this is what I want to do, and this is how I can help you. One of the things that makes me do what I do is that I look at every resident as someone who may or may not have been in my shoes, right? I grew up in 7 foster homes. We didn't have a lot. We didn't know about food boxes. We didn't know about energy assistance. We didn't know about these things. And I'm so grateful that we can give people these things because we didn't have them. If we had known that NHA existed when I was a child, I would have helped others in my community as a result of knowing about NHA. It's not always easy because there's some days that I go home totally unsure of what I'm doing. Like, am I doing this job right? Am I helping people? But then I sit next to Victoria and I'm 100% sure that I am. And that almost makes me cry, but I'm 100% sure that I am. And that is why I do this work every day.
So many organizations, partners, and individuals stepped up this year in creative ways to support the work of NHA. In this next clip, we'll hear from several of our donors and partners to learn more about what they did to pitch in and why it was important to them. A big thanks to everyone who stepped up to keep NHA's work going during these challenging times.
Good morning. My name is Brian Stewart. I'm the Community Relations Director for PNC Bank. I've had the benefit and opportunity to support NHA for a number of years in a variety of methods. One of the things that we like in supporting Northwest Housing Alternatives is their ability to house those most in need, including our seniors, our veterans, and families with children. One of the methods that we were able to support Northwest Housing Alternatives was partnering with their Way to Give Back campaign last year. We were able to get local employees to have a drive for needed items for the families that they support. We were also able to financially support the effort. It was just a great chance to have everyone get out and volunteer together, raising items that were needed during the holiday season for a good cause.
Hi, my name is Sonia Schnell, and I went to the Arbor School of Arts and Sciences. In my 8th grade year, as a capstone project, I sewed as much as I could for residents at the Annie Ross House. I was really inspired by the work they did there, so I really wanted to help them in my project. I used the skills that I already had, like my love for sewing, and I tried to just do as much as I could to the people there. So I really wanted to create that sense of comfort that you would get at a home, but maybe not in that facility. So I wanted to make pajama pants, especially for kids. So I made pajama pants, and I also made blankets. I went to Montebilla Sewing, and I met this wonderful woman, Irina Robertson, who helped me. And with the help of them and other local fabric stores, I was able to gather resources. I did a fundraiser to get funds, and then I brought friends together and all taught them how to make pajama pants. Then COVID hit. I had to finish them on my own with my mentor, and then also switched to making masks. In the end, we ended up making over 100 pajama pants and masks and over 50 blankets. I really wanted to support NHA and the Annie Ross House because everybody I knew there was really sweet and really kind, and I knew that they were just such an amazing place for all the residents there and all the families they were helping.
LMC's always had a really strong sense of community. It starts with Chris, who's our owner, and it travels down from the executive team into our laborers, all levels. You know, we were talking about COVID and its impacts and how we could help our staff navigate COVID. And then it turned into a bigger conversation. How can we help others? So it started with the turkeys, and we ordered turkeys and then ordered extra turkeys. As we headed into winter, we knew that there was additional need, and so we did the code drive, which went beyond our expectations, and every time we do something, our team steps up.
We decided we were going to do a food drive. I've never done one before, so I reached out to Sarah. We decided to kind of make it a competition within 8 of our active job sites and involve our subcontractors. We just have some really dynamic characters who just love LMC, they love giving back. So with the food drive, we just made a competition out of it. We had some really strong superintendents who really engage the subcontractors and are doing really well. And then we had one superintendent at Cathedral Village who decided to engage not only the subcontractors, but also the owners, the architects. And that's where we really kind of made a huge leap and ended up collecting, I believe, over $11,000.
Hi, I'm Melissa Clay. I'm a clinic director with Benchmark Physical Therapy here in Lake Oswego. In the past, had just contributed as a sponsor to the Lake Run. And this year with COVID, with the funds as a sponsorship not being available, we wanted to rally our clinics where you all serve. Instead of giving a straight cash donation, we raised funds in each one of our clinics, and we also were sites for food drop-offs. We had a total of maybe 15 to 17 clinics participating. All the clinics they had the autonomy to kind of do whatever they wanted. I know several clinics did pies in the face, and friends were Venmoing people to put money in the bucket because they wanted to see their friend get a pie in the face. People brought in food. They would just, bring it, fill the buckets, and then I would call and say, we have a big delivery for you guys, and we then gathered all of that stuff together and were able to deliver it to Northwest Housing.
Hi, my name is Kristen Donahue, and I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Nonstop Administration and Insurance Services. But my relationship with NHA started in high school. I was responsible for service projects for the Junior Lions Club, and every year we did a toy drive for the Annie Ross House in Albertina Kerr. A few of us had the privilege of coming on site to help sort and wrap presents at NHA. This had a profound impact on me. Children don't choose to be homeless, and if only for that reason, affordable housing and emergency shelters should be accessible. While Nonstop is a corporate sponsor and a proud supporter of Home Sweet Home, I wanted to help NHA create a campaign that was accessible to more people, and this is how A Way to Give Back came about. Not everyone can write large donor checks, but I do think everyone has something to give. For my close friends and family, we did a food drive and made food boxes for families in housing. I know some small businesses donated in-kind items and others did small recurring monthly monetary donations. Northwest Housing Alternatives work is more critical now than ever. As community members with the means to give, to donate, and support, there are lots of great nonprofit organizations in the Portland area. But is there another organization that is doing more to house people in a sustainable way by providing housing and resident services to help provide stability for the residents in need of support in our community?
Now we'll hear from Grace Chang from Umpqua Bank. Grace has many years of experience working with affordable housing providers that has given her a unique insight into the industry. She will be sharing some background about herself, NHA's partnership with Umpqua Bank, and the work that NHA does in the community. Grace, thank you for being here with us today.
Hi, my name is Grace Chang. I'm an affordable housing relationship manager at Umpqua Bank, the West Coast's largest community bank. At Umpqua Bank, we believe in building healthier, more resilient, better connected, and inclusive communities throughout our footprint in Oregon and the West Coast. Umpqua Bank believes that affordable housing is more important than ever in this time of economic uncertainty. That's why we are committed to supporting strong, affordable housing nonprofits that work for the benefit of people and their communities. I support Northwest Housing Alternatives because this is a nonprofit that has a proven track record of creating housing opportunity for families, for individuals, and for seniors with lower income. NHA knows how to build and preserve housing, how to provide affordable rents, and how to provide thoughtful programs and services in order to create opportunity for our communities. I am asking you to join me in supporting NHA today because having a safe and stable place to live is foundational. You need stable housing for a good life. Once you have stable housing, it's easier to eat healthy, to sleep well, to excel at school, and to be your best at work. The pandemic has hit low-income families and communities of color disproportionately. That makes NHA's social service programs even more important. NHA launched a new program this fall that provides extra supports for children, many of whom have fallen behind during a year or more of virtual schooling. Your donation today supports these critical services and helps build a stronger community for everyone. Please give to NHA today. Thank you.
Today we've heard stories about our community really coming together in a time of need. From longtime partnerships that have spanned the years to newer partnerships that have recently formed, we're so grateful for all of your support. Thank you for joining us and for showing up for NHA today and throughout the year. We truly could not do this work without you.
Hi, my name is Megan Anderson. I'm the annual fund manager here at Northwest Housing Alternatives. I want to thank all our sponsors today, in particular our presenting sponsor, Walsh Construction, our chocolate souffle sponsor, LMC Construction, Our chocolate truffle sponsors, Cascade Management, Income Property Management, BDA Architecture and Planning, Princeton Property Management, PNC Real Estate, Key Bank, Umpqua Bank, and our Muso Shakala sponsors, Network for Affordable Housing, Care Oregon, Salazar Architects, First Interstate Bank, Enterprise Community Investments, Cantor Taylor, I&E Construction, MWA Architects, Nonstop Wellness, Dow Architecture, Warren Industries, Providence Health and Services, Bremick Construction, and Northwest Natural. I want to give a big thank you to all of our generous sponsors who make our work possible. Thank you for your support.